Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, Lynda?
It's going, Aubrey. That's a pretty fancy countdown timer you've got there today.
I know. I had to zhuzh it up a little bit, mostly because we get started 5 minutes early, and then I'm like, oh, crap, here it is. A lot of hurry up and wait behind the scenes. So how's it going in Illinois? How was the 4th?
The 4th was hot, but it was very relaxing because we didn't.
So was the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
That's true. That's true. A little bit of rain here and there, but it was very relaxing. We didn't do much. We just hung out. So that was fun.
That's good.
How about you? You had a good 4th.
I did. We went on a little mini vacay, spent some time at the beach, but like in Michigan, and loved it. So we had a good time. Yep. But it's good to be back, and it's good to be back on a workshop week. I'm excited for this. can kind of already see behind us what we're going to be doing today, but no, now you can't see. But as always, if you consider yourself a hoop sister or hoop mister and you know what's going on with these workshops, put a number 2, drop a number 2 in the comments. We'd love to say hi to you. And then, of course, if you're brand new around here or you're still figuring it out, maybe you've watched a couple, but maybe you still think of yourself as a newbie, drop a number 1 in the comments, and we'd love to say hi to you as well. And for those of you who are number 1, we should probably introduce ourselves, right?
I think we should.
Let's start with you, Lynda.
Okay. My name's Lynda Remmers, and Annie would call me her much older sister, but I'm here to tell you it's only 10 and a half months.
Which I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know that was possible, but 10 and a half months.
10 and a half months. Yep. So Annie and I started Hoop Sisters in 2008, and Annie is next to me, the little short one. She's Annie. And then Aubrey.
That's me.
Yep. Aubrey.
And go ahead.
Well, you came on, I don't know, you've been with us a long time.
Since Hayden was a baby, that's how I remember. So it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm Lynda's niece and Annie's daughter. So there's a lot of sisters and all that kind of stuff. And then my sister is to the far left next to Lynda, and her name is Sarah Congdon, and she's on maternity leave. So we haven't seen much of Sarah lately, but she better come back soon.
Yeah. Aubrey was saying just a little bit ago, I think she's been gone, 3 weeks maybe?
I don't even know. Feels like a lot longer.
Soon.
You better come back soon. We got to fill this cabinet up. No. So anyways, if you are new, welcome. I do see a couple number 1s in the comments. So just so you know who you're hanging out with today. And when we do the workshops, we basically, just so you know, Sarah, Lynda, and Annie, sometimes I say mom, I shouldn't say that, Annie, they're all designers and digitizers here at Hoop Sisters. It's all done in-house. And today it's Lynda's turn to shine.
Yep.
And she's got a really beautiful new quilt to show you. So for those of you who are new, just real quick, what to expect with the Hoop Sisters workshop. They're basically free to come and hang out with us. We are streaming live. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, and you can come hang out, hopefully learn something. And we always like to show a brand new design, which we're going to do today. And then of course, the fun part is Lynda's actually going to show you how to do it too. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool. And we're changing up the order of events during this workshop. So there's some surprises. So stay tuned because we've got a fun surprise for you on day 2. And then, of course, we also like to include some special workshop pricing. So stay tuned for that. So if you're interested, it's a really great time to order if it's during workshop. So just know that as well. Can we talk about this adorable free gift and how they get that?
Yeah, it's just a cutest little tiny, you have it there.
I do.
Cutest little tiny zipper pouch. And it's a little inspiration of what our quilt is all about, the Moroccan Tumbler. So look how sweet that is.
Isn't it cute?
Little different shape than normal. It goes a little bit wider at the bottom, and the bottom has small little boxed corners. If you could show them the little tiny boxed corners, so you can get some little bit bigger things in there. It's just adorable. I love zipper pouches. I do
too.
Can't get enough.
I feel like I can never have enough zipper pouches. I think they're fantastic because you can always find something to put in there.
Always.
So I love that. So yeah, that is something whenever you see us open registration, we're either have a registration open or we're doing a workshop. Make sure to register because it doesn't cost anything to register. And we do send files to make a little free gift for you too. And this to me is like a bonus, by the way. This is a really nice free gift. So that is something that does expire day 1 of the workshop at noon. So if you were a lucky registrant, post it in our VIP Facebook group, and we're going to pick one lucky winner tomorrow to win $25 and Hoop Sisters store credit just for making the freebie and posting it in our VIP group. So And Nina, could you drop the link to that group too? Speaking of Nina is here to help. She is in the comments right now on YouTube and in Facebook. She can help you with general comments over the live. And if you need some personalized help, she can actually help you over the phone or email after the live as well. So everyone say hi, Nina. She's in the comments, just hanging out, waiting to help you guys and drop some important links for us throughout the day as well. Okay. Enough chit chat. Are we ready for the reveal? So I have pictures, but we also have quilts hanging behind us. How do you want to do it, Lynda?
Let's start with the pictures because then we can do close-ups with the quilts.
Okay. That sounds great. Okay. Well, here's one picture. Look at that. Okay. So this is actually tricky on my eyes because I'm used to squares.
Right. This shape is a tumbler shape, which has been around forever and ever. They've had tumbler quilts for years and years and years. And the way I put it together and the colors I use, it reminded me of Morocco, like a Moroccan tumbler. So that's why we did that. And this is the warm colorway that you're looking at right here. I love those giant clothespins. Those are so cute.
I do too. They're so fun. There might be the best thing I bought this year.
So I can't read the finished size from here. It looks like 43 by
51. I know it is kind of small. So the finished size, 43 by 51. And the largest hoop size, we should talk about this too, that you're going to need to have a 4.75 inch by 6.5 inch.
Which is not a huge hoop. So just about anyone should be able to do that.
That's
and
great.
There's 8 colors on there. We chose to do it in solids. And there's 2 different quilting.
Speaking of 2 different quilting, here we go.
So on the left is the Moroccan Tumbler that has the bubble quilting, which is a more modern quilting. And then that would be the cool colorway. On the right is the warm colorway, and that's got like traditional feathers, and they all meet and join together and flow throughout.
It's so pretty. And I love that there's 2 color options. Stay tuned to know more about what that means. But also, they don't have to pick which one they like better in terms of the bubble quilting or the feather quilting. Right. They're going to get both when they order this one. So that's really pretty. And we have a special surprise that we're saving for the end. So there is more. So stay tuned for sure. Even if you put a number 2 in the comments, you need to stick around because there's more to come. Okay. Okay. Oh, let's actually show them the quilt behind you. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So it is what we just showed in the picture, but just to give them an idea of the sample in person-ish.
So hopefully you can see the feather quilting.
So pretty. I love it.
This quilt, I actually washed this one. I don't usually wash my samples just to get the water-soluble stabilized or water-soluble thread out of it. But yeah, there's the feather quilting. That one shows up really well. This one shows up. The quilting is fairly long stitching, and it's double stitched, so it really is pronounced.
It's really pretty, and it pops on those color, like the solids.
Yeah, they're all the fabrics that I used are solids.
Okay. And I also want to show this one. I think you can see it. I can't bring my camera close. I can take it off the wall. I don't know. I love them both. I'm kind of partial to the bubbles.
I like the bubbles.
The bubbles are really, really cool. Can you guys see them? I might have to take it off the wall and put it under the close-up camera because it really is pretty. And anytime you get 2 options, I feel like it's a win. So you can make both. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? Do you love it? All right. So at this point, I think you're gonna take over and you're gonna stitch something for us.
Well, I'm going to let me do this first.
Ooh,
I want to walk a little bit through the directions, what you need to do to prep it, and then we'll stitch it. It's a real fast stitch out the block. It's like 4 steps. So your directions will give you a picture on the front, and it'll show you where your fabrics go. The cool thing about this pattern is all of these fabrics 1 through 8 is the same yardage. So you can adjust your colors anywhere you want. If you want to rearrange it differently than we did, you go for it. So this page shows you where your colors go and then your block names. And then in your fabric page, this is page 3 of the directions. For each fabric, it tells you, again, they're all 3/4 of a yard, and it tells you to cut 6 inch by width of under each particular color. Like this is fabric 2. You're going to cut 2 6-inch by width of fabric and 1 3.5 inch by width of fabric. So you pre-cut all of your 3/4 of a yard's fabric. And then we'll come back to that. And then there's a little chart that you can put a little scrap of all your fabrics. Like this is your fabric 1. And this is the block file you need it for. And this is the quantity. And for this fabric, you're going to cut 12 6 by 7.5. So that's how you can prep all of your fabrics. So I just put a little swatch on all of those block charts, which was very helpful. If you want, after you get them all cut and prepped, you can literally cut it out or print another page, put them in a bag together so they're ready to go.
Smart.
Yeah. So before we do any stitching, if you want to do, we always, a lot of times talk about optional wool. So the wool is what gives, here's a finished block. You can see the dimension of the quilting, how it's poofing out nice and just beautiful texture. That's what the wool will do. You don't have to use wool. It's completely optional. But if you want to use wool, I have some templates for you. So you're going to want to print this up, measure this 1-inch box, make sure it measures 1 inch, because obviously if it doesn't, your sizing will be off. Adjust your printer if you need to. And then we're going to use this template. I cut them out. And we're going to use this template to cut your wool out. And really all I do, the directions tell you how wide of a strip of wool to cut. You can just lay your template on there. Grab a ruler. And just go ahead and cut that out. So you'll cut out as many of these as the template tells you to. We also have a template for the side pieces because they're basically cut in half. And then you can take them to the iron. I won't demonstrate that, but I'll explain it. You see how this edge, this is the one I just cut. See how fat that edge is and how skinny this edge is? So if you take this to your ironing board, and I always get I like to say I crank my iron up to nuclear fusion. And I set my iron right on that very edge. And you can see how it like melted down my batting. And this is how you want to prep it. So that being said, I'm going to switch my camera over to the machine, Aubrey, and we'll get stitching.
Okay, so while she's doing that, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Oh, are you ready now?
No, I am not.
You got to move stuff. Okay, then it's okay. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. So typically we offer one colorway, unless it's like mystery quilt or something like that. But I think Lynda fell in love with both of these. And so we did make the 2 samples in 2 different colorways to really show off both of the quilting options that are included with this one. So we added 2 fabric kits and I'm so excited about it. We have a little poll going in the office. Which one do we think is going to sell out faster? You're going to have to order, and that'll be the way that we're going to find out. I think they're both going to be very, very popular. So we do have a warm kit. And we have a cool kit available. As always, it's limited supply. We'll go ahead and drop the order link. But if you are new around here, stick around so I can tell you how all of this works with the promotions and all that kind of stuff. But man, they're really beautiful. All of it is Moda. So Really pretty. Looks like Bella solids. So nice. They're really beautiful, and they're $69, and it's a ton of fabric. I hope you can tell by just looking at this picture, but we'll show you in person too. It's a lot of fabric. I think you did math beforehand. And you said
6 yards, 6.5 yards of fabric.
so it's a lot of fabric.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, you can see me. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already done a little side block up here earlier today because I want to show you how to trim it. But now I'm going to do the main block, and there are several, depending on if you do bubble or feather, you just have to follow the directions and do however many of each file it says to do. But basically the steps are identical for all of them. Step number 1 is you're going to sew a placement stitch, which I did here. You're supposed to use for that step the water-soluble thread, but that's white and you wouldn't see it, so I did it in this orange thread. And then step number 2 is to take your wool, if you're going to use the wool, and I'm going to, and we're going to tack this down. So you'll take that wool that you cut and you prepped by pressing it, and you put it inside that placement stitch, and it's going to do a zigzag.
And Linda's doing all of this with a camera in her lap. So if she can do that.
Awkward at all. And in the dark, I'm turning the lights off so they don't glare. So that's step 2. Step 3 is where we tack down our fabric, and you should use water-soluble thread for this because, oh, what the heck? There's only 4 steps. I'm going to change my thread.
She's going for it.
I'm going for it. So I will take my water-soluble, and this is going to hold my fabric down. And the reason we use the water-soluble is because when we sew our seams together, if a little bit of that stitching shows, all you have to do is dab it with some water and it's gone. And this quilt, I don't normally wash my quilts after I make them using this method, but I did this one and I love how it came out. Got rid of all my water-soluble thread. I put it in the washer just on like a rinse, and then I popped it in the dryer for like 5 minutes, and then I laid it flat, and it took like a day. I just flipped it over after a few hours, and it dried beautifully. So this is the base of my fabric now.
And Tag on YouTube says because it's hot out, she thinks the cool is going to go first.
That's smart. It cools you off just looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last step is the quilting step. See how quick this is going? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a matching thread. So I chose a thread that matched each fabric, or maybe even a slightly darker or slightly lighter thread for each fabric, so it would show a little bit. So I'll put that in my needle. And this whole time I'm using just a pre-wound embroidery bobbin on the back because we're not adding the back as we go. All right, here goes the quilting. Like I mentioned before, the stitch length on this quilting, I made it a little longer because I love how that looks. And then each part of the quilting is stitched over twice. Really make it come out. mention this, but if you have the ability to raise the height of your presser foot a little bit on your machine when you're stitching over the wool, which I just did, you could go ahead and do that. This helps it glide over a little bit easier.
Yeah, and I will say too, just reading some comments here, keep in mind the wool is an option. So you don't have to do the wool. You could skip the wool if you wanted. So you can do it whatever way you want. Another question I want to make sure to answer is, does the pattern come with a fabric kit? It does not. It is sold separate, and you'd have to choose which one you want and add it to your cart separately. And Barbara says, I found out the hard way. If you don't order what you want, the fabric kit will sell out.
Yes,
It sure will. So, hey, Lynda, I don't know if you want to answer this now or if you want to wait. But Barbara's asking, will the battleizer give the same effect as the, I'm assuming she means the wool. If you want to talk about that.
The battleizer will look beautiful, but the wool will give it some added dimension. That's the best thing I can say about that. Okay, so you can kind of see the dimension here. I mean, when I run my finger over it, it's actually
beautiful.
Oh, yeah. So there you go.
How easy was that?
Yeah. Now, something I highly recommend, and I forgot what block this is, so I'll figure it out. But when you stitch your block, please. Oh, we're going to trim this in a minute, but I'll show you. You want to mark at the top of your block exactly what block it is, especially if you're doing the feather quilting, because they all work together. And if you don't get them in the right place, they're not going to line up. So pay attention to that and mark the top of your block. All right, Aubrey, I'm going to move my camera again if you want to talk to, or
Sure.
Okay.
So, okay, we talked about the fabric kit. She already stitched one out, and I feel like I could do that, Lynda. I feel like it was so easy to do it. So I do want to quickly talk about workshop pricing. We're not done with the demo. We have more to show you, but I know some of you are ready to pull the trigger. So I want to make sure for those of you who are putting number 2 and you're ready to pick your kit and all that stuff, that we get you all taken care of. So workshop pricing, this just means we are coming out with a brand new design today, and it's the best time to get the best price today and tomorrow. So we'll have Nina drop the order link first and foremost. And if you go check that link out, it's our new arrivals collection. And in that collection, if you put 2 items, there's other designs, there's some tools, which we'll talk about. There's that battleizer, which she just was stitching on. If you add 2 items from that collection to your cart, you're automatically going to see 10% come off in your cart. Okay. There are a couple exceptions to that. That would be things like any additional fabrics, where there are some pre-cut fabrics available in that category. Those are not included in the 10% off. The strip stick, any threads, and wool, those things are not, but there's a lot of things that are. So just know that. And this again expires tomorrow, July 9th at midnight. And also we're doing free shipping on orders over $160 as long as it's shipping within the contiguous US. That will automatically happen as well once your cart hits $160. Lynda, are you ready?
I am.
If not, I can keep going.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, you're ready, or go ahead, keep talking.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
Okay.
Sorry.
And we're over here, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought, do you want me to show them the kit fabric first or the trimming?
Ooh. Let's do the trimming since you're right there and ready, and then we'll do the kit.
All right. So I did mark the top of my block. You probably can't see it, but I did write the block number there and the block number there. Because when you're all done and you have a big pile of blocks, you want to be able to identify what they are so you can put them together. Okay. So we have this great tool called the Trimmer by George 3.0. Here it is. This is the best tool ever for doing our Hoop Sisters blocks. It's a 4.5-inch wide acrylic ruler. It's 12.5 inches long. But the cool thing about it is this metal crimped edge right here. There's a crimped piece of metal right there. And this is used to trim the blocks without cutting the face fabric. Because what we need to do now is turn back this face fabric, and we need to trim the battleizer completely out of the seam allowance. And if you were to try to do this with a scissors, I mean, it can be done, or even a rotary cutter and a ruler, the odds of you nicking your fabric are pretty good. So what we want to do is flip this fabric up, put that crimped metal edge down on your mat, put it right next to your block, give it a bit of a shimmy to get nice and close, lay it down, make sure there's no face fabric showing out right here. Give it just a little tug, and you're going to completely trim off your battleizer. On this particular block, I'm going to do the entire, all 4 sides of the block with that method. I'm going to flip it back, give it a shimmy, make sure there's no fabric coming out. And I didn't mention, we need to use a 60mm rotary cutter to do this because of the height of the blade. This is so much taller than a regular ruler that we need the height of the 60mm cutter so that you can use it properly. If you try to use a 45, you end up kind of turning the blade at an angle, which could sneak under and trim your fabric. It'll also dull your blade because the blade will be running next to the metal edge. So here we have the 4th side. So that's trimmed up. Now this little half block over here, let me get rid of a little bit of this extra. This little half block has a straight edge to it. This straight edge is actually going to be where my binding goes. So whenever you have an edge to your quilt, you want to turn your trimmer over so the crimped edge is facing up. And then we'll place the basting line, which is this outside water soluble basting line, on the 1/4 inch. Give that a trim. And that way we have something for our binding this to hold on to. And then the rest of the sides we'll go ahead and use a trimmer. And then once you get the top trimmed up, which I have on both of these blocks now, so this is what they look like on the top. On the back, they look like this, where I only see battleizer. So now I'm going to turn it over and trim with, again, my trimmer with the crimped metal edge facing up. And I will put my 1/4 inch line on the edge of my battleizer and then trim the rest of the sides up.
DV says Franken batting challenge accepted.
Yeah, with this one, it's going to be interesting. Usually I'll get a bigger hoop and I'll sew a bunch in a hoop. So I don't have a lot of waste, but it's definitely holier than normal. So these are the backs of my blocks and these are the fronts. And we're ready for tomorrow to show you how to put them together.
Okay, awesome. And normally we do the trimming day 2.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about in a second why we did it today. Okay, so remember how I was telling you that if you add 2 items from your cart, that you're going to get 10% off automatically. And if you add $160, you're going to get free shipping if it's shipping within the contiguous US. Well, something else is going to happen too that I didn't quite get to tell you. And that is a bonus is going to be added. A little bonus project is going to be added to your cart. And I feel like you got really lucky with the free gift this time. And the bonus should be more than worth $15 that you're going to get free. But the bonus is really awesome too. And at first I was like, oh, it doesn't match the quilt, Lynda. Normally it matches the quilt. But then I was like, you know what? It'll show you guys an entirely new color scheme. So I think it's actually going to be great. I'm going to push it over here and then maybe you could tell them about it.
Sure. So this is this very scrappy strip piece tumbler. So we have some vertical and horizontal strip piece blocks. We've got the full blocks and we've also got the half blocks for the edges of the quilt. So you can just go nuts with your scraps and just have a good time. And it's just strip piece, so it's a quilt as you go. So the quilting is actually the strip piecing itself. There's no additional quilting on top of the block. But it's just a fun little thing. You can do table runners, placemats, pillows, whatever you like. But just use up your scraps.
I love it. So can I just, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, I kind of want to make this like a Christmas tree.
You always want to do that.
I know. I don't know what my problem is, but like if you could do this Christmas tree colors here and then like snow, blue, white.
Oh, that's clever. Make it look like a tree. Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing I'm not a designer. Good thing I'm not a designer. So yeah, the bonus, the strip pieced blocks is really cool. And you could do a lot with it for sure. And that's actually going to just pop in your cart for free when you do 2 or more items from the new arrivals category today or tomorrow. So pretty nice freebie. What do you guys think? And the color's pretty cool too. All right. So we invite you to participate. Again, we're not done yet. We have more news to share with you. And again, we have a beginner friendly quilt. Like you guys saw how quick those, I keep wanting to say blocks because that's what we normally do, but how quickly her little quilt sections are coming together. Really cool. So now the biggest question is which colorway are you going to go with, right?
Yeah. Let's show them the fabric kits.
Let's show that. Yeah. Over here. Yes.
Okay. So there's 6.5 yards of Moda Bella solid in here. So let me open one up.
It's hefty.
It is hefty. And then I'll have to take it back. So this is someone's kit. Maybe I'll leave you a surprise in there. So here's all your fabrics. Look at these beautiful colors. This one is called, I'll tell you what this one's wheat. This one is, I don't know, pumpkin. I think this is this is pumpkin. This one is spice. This one is honey. This one here, it's beautiful gold. Then we've got some lovely shades of purples, a couple of shades of green. There's 2 shades of green.
Pretty.
And these beautiful 2 shades of purple and this burgundy. There's also enough, let's see, the one that's the binding is the eggplant. So I believe this is your binding in this kit. So that's the warm colors.
A lot of fabric.
And then we also give you this little key here so you know what we decided. But remember, there's 3/4 yards of all of this except for the one we picked for the binding. That's got more. you can arrange your colors any place you like. So you don't have to stick with the way I picked it because they're all the same yardage. So I thought that would be kind of fun. You can make it a little bit your own. And these are the beautiful cool colors. Lots of shades of blues, teals. Look at that pretty blue. This is pretty too.
I like it.
A little bit of green in there. Another teal. Some more purples. There's lots of purples in this one. So there you go.
Really pretty. And someone just said they like the warm for fall, like thinking ahead to fall.
That's what it's going in my family room as soon as we're done with this live.
Yes, perfect. Okay, and so I also saw a question. We covered this in the beginning, but I want to make sure I say this again. The approximate finished size of this design is 43 inches by 51 inches. You will need a 4.75 inch by 6.5 inch hoop to make it. Okay. All right. The other thing I always like to talk about, because it is a 2-day workshop and we're talking about ordering and all that kind of stuff. Usually on day 2, we show the trimmer. So I like to give people a heads up, but we already showed you the trimmer today. So the battleizer was what she hooped first. That's our batting and stabilizer product in one. That is a separate, all these things are separate that you'll have to put in your cart if you want them. But the battleizer is great. So definitely recommend that. We also love our hoop scissors and hoop scissors mini. And we also showed the trimmer by George today. All those things in that top row are included in the put 2 things in your cart from the new arrivals category, and you will get 10% off. Is the wool included with the kit?
Sorry,
no, it is.
I'm hitting
no, that's okay. No, the wool is not included. So the wool would be a separate purchase, and it's also, since it's not technically our product, it's also not included in the 10% off, but you can get it from us. So, and the wool looks great with this, like that solid color with the really pretty quilting. It really pops. Okay. And then the monopoly, the vanish light, and the strip stick are all products we know, love, recommend, and do sell, but they're not Hoop Sisters products. So those would be excluded. Also, we didn't mention, we do have a couple additional fabrics in there. Do you want to talk about those? Because I don't think I put a slide in here.
Couple additional fabrics. What do you mean?
Those, like the
yardages?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So we had a little bit of fabric left over after creating the kit. So we have some 3/4 yard cuts. Typically we do 1 yard cuts, but these were already cut into 3/4 yard cuts, which is the yardage you need for, there you go. The yardage you need for the Moroccan Tumbler. So you can go into the website and see we have just about everything but one color of extra fabric.
It's really pretty.
There's something you really like, and it's Moda Bella Solid. So it's very high quality cotton fabric.
Really, really pretty. Okay. So that is definitely on the website for you as well. And the price is great on it. It's also. Okay. Let's talk about day 2. We still have some big news coming up, and I think the next slide, but we are going to be back tomorrow. Why didn't we do trimming tomorrow like we normally do?
So tomorrow we've already trimmed, so we're going to pin and stitch the blocks together. We'll show you a little bit about putting it together, but we have a nice surprise. Usually when I do a quilt, I like to do that optional quilting for the back of the quilt because I'm a glutton for punishment. So this is quilting for the back of the quilt because we're making the whole top. We're putting the top and the back together and quilting in the ditch between our tumbler blocks. But if you want to, you can pre-quilt the back of your quilt fabric using this design, and it's available for both the embroidery machine and the long arm machine. So I'm going to do a little demo on how to place those and stitch those tomorrow. So that's why we did trimming today.
What a fun option. So
Yeah.
the wool is optional, the quilting of the back separately, all optional, but it's in there, so you can do it. You know, I always call mom extra Annie because I feel like she always just is like does extra, like more than she needs to. But you honestly do too. But extra Lynda doesn't roll off the tongue quite the same. So I feel like I need a new nickname that says the same thing.
Y'all have to
Okay.
come up with something.
Yeah. And I also have a question, and this might be silly, but because I don't know the answer. Could you put any of these quiltings on the bonus? Or is the bonus the bonus?
You absolutely could, Aubrey. You
Okay.
absolutely could. Yeah.
So if you want to be extra,
If you want to be extra, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an edge-to-edge pattern. And it's basically going to go over your quilting. It may not line up perfectly like it does when we digitize it for the hoop, but you absolutely could do that.
And then Kathy has named you Bonus Mama.
Thank you, Kathy.
So there we go. We might have to use that for you from now on for sure. Okay. Oh, and look, oh my gosh, now my comments are going crazy. But Andrea Sterling said the same thing. Will the quilting design fit the bonus block? So sounds like it will. Okay.
I don't know if it'll fit specifically on the block. It wasn't designed to do that.
Oh, okay.
But you could definitely overlay the quilting with it.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where can we find the quilting files for the back? Well, let's drop the order link. You order that, and then they're in there. So everything's included within the design. More Mama, Bonus Mama.
And again, they are embroidery machine files. And if you have a long arm, all your basic long arm files are in there as well.
Cool. So you do not need a long arm.
No.
You can just use your embroidery machine, which is what we love and what we're all about. So,
or you can go buy a long arm. I think.
Or you can go buy a long arm, but you know, that's up to you. It went from a $45 design to a long arm. Oh, okay. So just a quick reminder as we wrap up here today. We'll drop, Lena's on it. She's dropped the order link. So go check it out. See what you think. Start adding stuff to your cart. If you add 2 items, eligible items from the new arrivals category, you're going to save yourself 10%, earn yourself the bonus. And if your cart gets to 160, because you need battleizer and trimmers and wool and whatever, and it's shipping within the contiguous US, we're shipping it to you for free. But we're only doing all of this through Wednesday, July 9th at midnight. Okay. All right. You just use regular stabilizer for the back. That's a you question. You can talk about battleizer and all that.
The back.
Maybe she's thinking about tomorrow where you're going to talk about the flannel.
Yeah, tomorrow for the back, if you're talking about the back, I like to use a high quality cotton flannel. And I do pre-wash it because it does tend to shrink. And that's all I use for the back. Or you could also use, we carry in our store the Quilter's Dream Request, which is their thinnest polyester batting. You can also use that, but I do like the flannel better because it's just a little bit lighter.
Okay. All right. And is there a feather design for the back?
There is not a feather design for the back because everybody and their big sister has already created long arm feather designs or edge to edge feather designs. So I wanted to do this design because it's unique.
It is. It's really cool. And we'll go into more of the back tomorrow, which it sounds like you guys are excited to learn more about. Okay, we're also going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give you guys just one more. Where's my thing? There it is. One more opportunity. If you're new around here, we always, well, not always, but during workshops, we like to do $50 live viewer giveaways. So that's what we're doing right now. So if you're on live, just type the word Tumbler. You can do it in YouTube or Facebook. Doesn't matter where you're watching from. You only have to type it one time and your name will go right into our giveaway tool. So we're going to do that in just a moment. But before we do, I also want to remind you that Nina is here to help. So if you have any questions, if something we said, you're like a little like, what did they say about this? Or my cart's not doing quite what I thought it would, give her a call or email her after the live and she can be of assistance to you there. And I see a lot of tumblers in the comments. So let's get to the giveaway because that's the fun part too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. Let's see. There we go. Anybody else want to play? Come on, type it quick. Type it quick. All right, let's go for it. So $50 in Hoop Sisters store credit, and I bet I know what you could order with it. All right, Jackie Sherman, congratulations. You're the winner, Jackie, watching over on Facebook. Thank you for hanging out with us live. So Jackie, what you're going to want to do is get a hold of Nina. Just shoot her a quick email. And, oh, I got to change something real quick. Let her know that you were today's winner so that she knows exactly which account to add that to. There we go. There's the help number. And Jackie, you let Nina know that you won today, and we'll pop $50 in store credit in your account. Okay. So congratulations. All right.
Yes, congratulations.
I think we did it.
Okay. Do we have questions?
Any questions you saw?
Well, I tried to star some, but I ended up just putting them on the screen.
It's easy to do when they move.
Right. Barbara wants to know what size the bonus uses. I believe it's the same size as the regular ones. And Jeannie wants to know if we can make it a queen size. Yeah, you can just keep going. We didn't do the math for that, but you can just keep going. This is a real simple one to make bigger. And Loretta had pretty much the same question. So yeah, you can just keep going. Again, I did the math for the one size that are in the directions, but you can figure it out because it tells you exactly how to cut it. So it shouldn't be too hard.
And if you're getting the kit, it's going to be enough to make the size that we show. So
exactly,
keep that in mind too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How do you Franken battleizer? Well, we could maybe talk about that tomorrow, or we can talk about it now, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But
I don't have a handy piece of battleizer laying here. The one I cut up had big holes in it. But basically, when you trim up your blocks, if you're kind of frugal with the way especially with square blocks, not so much the tumbler blocks, but if you're frugal with the way you cut your the edges of your battleizer off, you'll have big chunks left over, and basically you butt them together and set the machine for like a 3-step zigzag. That's a zigzag it goes 3 stitches in the zig and 3 in the zag, and you just butt them up and sew them together. And I put a lot of, I think my November design was all done with Frankenbat, but you can't tell. And you can't show it to them because it's not November yet.
But I can't wait to show it to them. Okay, cool. All right. And then do you remember off the top of your head how many colors of fabric they need? It was, how many are in that kit?
8 colors.
8 colors. Okay.
8 colors. Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me see, make sure there wasn't anything else. Okay. I think we answered everything.
Cool.
That I see here. We're going to go ahead, Nina, if you could drop that order link one more time. And of course, we will be back tomorrow talking all about the back, which is very exciting. So come back then. And also the promotions expire tomorrow. So
yeah.
I was like, why did Nina say 8? She's like, I've been here 8 years. No, she just means there's 8 fabrics, 8 colors.
I think it's been longer than 8 years. Hasn't it?
I think it's been 7.
Okay.
But either way, someone also just asked, how do you get the bonus? So the bonus will pop in your cart automatically if you add 2 or more items from the new arrivals category, which is the link that Nina just dropped. I think that person was watching on Facebook. So over on Facebook, Nina just dropped a link. Go over to that category and look through there. And there's other designs in there too. So let's say we have, I think Sigrid's on. I think she's from Germany. I know she's from Germany. I think I saw her name. So I'm assuming she might get 2 downloads, so you don't have to worry about shipping. So, but there's lots of different things within that new arrivals, but you add 2 individual items to your cart from there, and it'll pop in. And Judy, if you're still having trouble, just get a hold of Nina after the live and she can help you out. Okay. Yes, Sigrid's from Germany and she's on right now. Hi, girl. Okay, well, I think that's all we got for you today. We will see you back here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Talk all about the back.
Thank you, everybody. It was fun sewing with you today. Can't wait till tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.